Spanish. She's from Spain. So I have something to share with you because I do believe we need to share our stories because it's the way that we can see how the Lord works in an amazing way in our lives. Yeah. Like you were saying, it does happen every single day. So this is way before I met you, Tori. This is a very beautiful experience that I had when I was single and I had my daughter. So every summer I would wanted her to have the experience of going in missionary trips and, work hard and see how people live in other countries. That way she will appreciate what she has and also to get closer to the Lord. So that year we were going to go to Tijuana, Mexico. And of course, because I speak Spanish, they were asking me, if I would go with them. And I said, sure, I want to go. And at that time, I do my mammograms every year because unfortunately my mother, she died at age 46, which I really think is very young. If I consider that I'm older than her already, it kind of scares me. So I am being, in a way, forced to, practice that. And every year I have to go and do a mammogram because she died of breast cancer. So since I was in my 30s, then the doctor said, you have to be checking every year. You ladies, you know what I'm talking about. And, I've been doing it. But exactly a few months before we were going to leave to the trip in that summer, I found out that I had a lump.
Oh boy.
And so they called me in and they said, well, we need to do more specific tests to find out what's going on. And I said, okay, that's fine. And sure enough, exactly like 3 or 4 days before we were leaving to Mexico, the doctor called me into his office, and I just knew. I don't know why, but I just knew because he will not call me in, honestly, unless he has something to say. So I kind of felt, something was not right. So sure enough, I'm right there, and then the doctor tells me, well, Susie, I just want to tell you that the test we did is showing that you have cancer. It's cancer. And then we need to do more testing. He started trying to explain me what I needed to do. And I just remember I could hear him because all of a sudden, I'm just thinking, wow, what am I supposed to do here? And in that moment, I was, I guess, in shock, but then I can hear this voice in the back of my mind. Don't worry about it. Just do what you need to do. Don't worry about it. And I can feel my heart beating so fast because the first thing that I thought it was about my daughter. It's a teenager and, being divorced and promising that I was going to take care of her. That was my first thought. What about Emily? Don't worry. Just do what you need to do. So I told the doctor that I was leaving to Mexico, and he's like, no, you cannot go. You have to do all these blah, blah, blah testing and stuff. And I said, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And I'm not going to cancel my trip. And I'm just going to have to trust that everything is going to be okay. says, well, obviously I cannot force you to do this, but then promise me you are going to be coming back here as soon as, as soon as you're back home. And I said, yeah, fine. So I went home, and I was not really sure how to tell my daughter about it, but I knew that I needed to inform her what was happening, because obviously by the look of my face, probably she will know, like, Mom, what's going on. So I kind of prayed about it, and the same thing, I can hear a voice in the back of my mind, just tell her what it is, and don't worry about it. So I did, and she kind of put a face, and she started crying, and she started telling me, Mom, we cannot go. You need to, follow this, and who knows what's going to happen, what if it spreads, and, she was really worried about it. And then I remember, taking her hands and looking in her eyes and saying, Emily, we just need to do what we need to do. And we're not going to cancel, and we're going to go and work for the Lord. And I have to trust that is His will, not mine, and I'm not going to worry about this.
Amen.
So we went to the missionary trip. We have an amazing time, and I was very blessed and grateful that all the team that I went with, they were, praying for me every day. They were like, extra loving me, because I guess they could see the look in my face, because it doesn't matter when bad things happen in your life. Even if you are the most faithful and trusting people, and you are sure that the Lord is right there with you, but when we're talking about dying versus living, and me especially having the responsibility of taking care of my daughter, I still am a mom. So it doesn't matter, I think that, you can't hide your feelings, and it's okay to show your feelings, that's why we have them. So sometimes I would be very happy, and sometimes I was crying, and sometimes, I was really just praying. So anyways, when we came back, then I went to visit with the doctor, so they sent me downtown here to a specific place, because they were going to do a specific testing and stuff. And then, sure enough, that was like right away. I was like actually in shock, because how it is. Here you have to wait to get an appointment, and they take forever. No, they did that this fast. He calls me back, and then he looks at me, and he gives me, he's like this face. And then I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble, because he really was with a face in shock. And then he's like, Susie, I really don't know how to tell you this. And then I was like, oh my God, here we go. Okay, I was just thinking, okay, just tell me. And then he's like, you don't have anything anymore. And I'm like, what? You don't have anything anymore. I don't know what happened. And then he started asking me questions. Okay, what you were eating over there while you were there? You went like green juicing hardcore. He starts asking me, because he wanted to know, like, if I changed my diet, what happened, And then I said, because to be honest with you, I was gone for a while, and I decided that I was not going to worry about it, and that I was going to put it in the Lord's hands. And here I am sitting in front with the doctor, and he's telling me, what you eat? What are you eating? Are you exercising more? Are you sleeping less? Like a doctor, And then I just looked at him, and I was just so happy that actually I could say that, because I know actually, he believes in other things, and he is in another religion, but we are very good friends, And then I was like, yes, this is my chance to tell you. And then I said, well, it's just because I have faith in Jesus. just trust that He's going to take care of me. And He has delivered His promise. So guess what, guys? Here I am.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, thank you. I asked about that last week. I was like, anyone have healing or anything like that before? And no one said anything. And then when the lunch line, she tells me, we're going to talk next week, so thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The whole idea of coming together and being part of community and praying for each other is trusting that God would be in our midst and that God would do things in our hearts and in our lives and the lives of other people. And recognize that we all need healing and restoration in different ways. God is in the process of restoring us. Every day, restoring us back to the image of Christ. All right? And so, healing happens in all kinds of ways we talked about last week. Sometimes it's the amazing cancer goes away. And sometimes I just forgave someone that I've been bitter with for my entire life. Or I'm giving God a break today and I'm not angry at Him anymore. Those are, through the Bible, those are all different acts and things that happen for healing, and He does many different things in many ways. And I just recognize that we're all continuing to go through something. Whether it's the substances that we're using, or the ways that we're continuing to try to cope with life and with stress. This is about having an experience with God. God really cares. He really cares about you. He really loves you. And if that scripture is there, it says He's able to do more than we can even think, to ask, or comprehend. Maybe it's just love. Maybe your love has just waned a little bit. Because it says His love is higher than the highest mountain, and deeper than the sea, and wider than, it just goes on forever and ever. And sometimes we just need like a spark or that flame to get brighter. And that's nothing that you can do yourself. Except take opportunity, and take opportunity now as we pray, as we connect, and we pray for each other, that God will do what He wants to do, and we'll do that. Okay? So I recognize there are some that would be bold enough to say, hey, I need prayer for this morning, so we're all going to pray for that. All right? And within our little people and that kind of stuff. So, who needs prayer this morning? Who needs prayer? Just like raise your hand if you feel like, yeah, I need prayer about something. All right? Okay? All right, good. All right, yeah, no one's going to, everybody raise your hand. So, who would like to share? Like, they really need prayer for something. I know Debbie shared with me earlier, she was in an accident, and so she had a concussion. And with that, so she's got a headache and she's not doing very good, so we're going to be praying for Debbie this morning. Okay? Holly.
I'm 5 weeks post-surgery and I'm still healing, and I need prayer for continued healing.
Okay, so she's 5 weeks, if you didn't hear that, she's been in surgery 5 weeks ago. Now Holly was gone for a while, she was not doing very well. And we're really, really, really glad you're here. We're going to pray for you, and so I'm glad you're here. Which is a miracle in itself. Drew, your dad.
Amen.
Yeah.
Jack, raise your hand. Thank you, Kathy.
We're flying to Seattle on Monday. We meet with the docs in the cath lab there. Cardiac lab. They're going to run the catheter in on Tuesday morning to do, I don't know if it's going to be angioplasty or stents or whatever they find. Anyway, hopefully we're home on Wednesday, so we need prayers for them.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes. Is your dog sick? Or did it die? He died? Oh. Okay, so we're going to pray for you. Okay? We'll do that. So we're going to pray for you. Anyone else? Jordan's parents are here visiting, and they'll be traveling back today to North Dakota, right? Yes, so pray that you guys make it safe. Yep. Yes?
I'd get everyone to pray for my daughter Christine. She's having a real bad time with her students in Atlanta, Georgia, and just very, very different from what she's used to teaching.
Okay. So for my sister-in-law, Christine. Bruce. Yeah.
Patience for me.
Patience.
Hurry up.
Yeah, hurry up, get that. Yeah, hurry up. Oh, hurry up. All right, so let's just kind of press in together a little bit, all right? Let's get with some people around you and just pray for each other. Don't be left alone. Find someone else. And I'm going to ask you to pray with expectation and urgency. Okay? Expectation and urgency. I think sometimes, from what I see, it's like, sometimes, I'll say this, it's like a bunch of zombies walking around. People walking around like zombies, not realizing they're on a death march, just kind of coasting along. We can coast along in this country, in our life, so easy. And the urgency and the necessity that we need for God in our lives to do special things is just not there. So I urge you, highly recommend that life is different and the experience is different with God when you have expectations and you're just like urgency. Like this is my last day. It's always my last day. Okay? That's the way I look at it. I'm still hopeful for tomorrow. Okay? So let's press it together and just pray.